who were inflicted with cancer, and they ended up being 90 pounds before they died, and it just looks awful. Just awful. But you see, that's what we see. Just like there are all kinds of things going on in the spirit world here, when Jesus dies in weakness and shame and humiliation, in the very same way, when a believer in Jesus Christ dies, I wish that we could see them 5 minutes after they had died, and we'd be absolutely overwhelmed with the contrast. We'd say, you know, what we're seeing isn't reality at all. God would say, yeah, that's right, it's not reality. This is what's happening on earth, but if your eyes were opened and you saw the spirit world, you'd be rejoicing that this person was taken to glory. It's a matter of perspective, isn't it? But now back to the text. Do you know that humanity is divided into two huge groups, and the groups are not men and women, though there are important distinctions between men and women? The two groups are not blacks and whites. The two groups are not rich and poor, educated, uneducated, east versus west. All of those divisions are interesting, but not determinative. But the human race is divided into two groups. And those two groups are epitomized here by the two people who are crucified with Jesus Christ. On the one hand, you have one man deriding Christ and saying, if you're the Son of God, do something. Just like some of the people with whom you work down in the loop. Well, if God is God, then why doesn't He do something about what's happening in the Middle East? Why doesn't He do something about Africa? Why doesn't He do something about all of the earthquakes and the floods? I mean, you believe in God? Well, where is He? Why doesn't He come and save Himself and us? Well, that's one segment of humanity. Then there's another segment of humanity that says, we are receiving what we deserve for our deeds, but this man has done nothing wrong. And he was saying, Jesus, remember me. Remember me when you come into your kingdom. And Jesus turns to him and says, truly, truly, I say to you, today, you shall be with me in paradise. And there's Jesus Christ dying on that cross, and on one side there is someone who's saying, if you're the Son of God, do something. If you're as big as you think you are, then what's wrong? And there you have another man saying, I'm a sinner. Oh, God, remember me. And Jesus said that you're going to die today, and we're going to be together in paradise. I marvel at the faith of this man. To put so much confidence in somebody who was in a position that was as bad as his own. Jesus didn't look any better than the other two guys who were dying. He probably looked worse, more helpless. He says, though he's dying or not, I'm going to believe in him anyway. I'm not going to take a look at what he looks at physically. I'm just going to believe that he's the Son of God, and I'm going to trust him no matter how much of a failure he seems to be at this moment. And Jesus said, you're in the kingdom, friend. We'll be together in paradise. What about you today? I wish I could tell you that when Jesus died on the cross, He reconciled all of humanity to Himself. He did not. There's no question but that there are only few people, proportionately, on planet Earth who will take advantage of Christ. Do you know that there are a lot of people who say to themselves, I've been baptized in the church, I've been confirmed by the church, I have sung in choirs, I have given money, and they will be excluded from the kingdom because they do not understand the nature of what happened at the cross. They think that it's going to come through all that ways, that if they contribute their part, and then God comes along and contributes His part, and they punt the ball to His mercy, they're going to be in. No way. The only ones who are saved are those who say, oh God, I'm so helpless, I can't save myself. You don't accept human righteousness. I look to Jesus Christ alone. Oh, remember me when you come into your kingdom. I will believe in Him. In California, some time ago, there was a man who was speeding, was taken to court, and he pleaded guilty. The judge issued a sentence, and after the judge issued the sentence, he went around and stood with the man and paid the sentence for him. And that's what the gospel is all about.
Well, this is Pastor Lutzer, and I love that illustration. I'm sure that you've heard it many times before, how it is the judge who gives the sentence, who signifies what the penalty is going to be, and then stands with the defendant and pays the very amount that he himself demanded. That's the gospel. You see, God demands perfection, God demands holiness that you and I don't have. So in Jesus Christ, God supplies what he demands. I conclude today urging you that if you've never trusted Christ as Savior, do that right now. Admit your sinfulness, admit that you cannot save yourself, and simply say, Father, I trust your Son to do for me what I can't. I receive him as mine this very moment.
That was Dr. Erwin Lutzer wrapping up his message, Dying a Winner, a Visit to the Cross. On Monday's Running to Win, you'll hear about 3 men who chose God's way over their own way in times of trial. Join us for Souls in Conflict. We at Moody Church believe this 8-part series will help you understand God's overall plan for the human race. What is God Up To can be yours on CD as our thank you when you give a gift of any amount to support Running to Win. For details, call 1-800-215-5001. That's 1-800-215-5001. Online, go to offerrtw.com. That's offerrtw, all one word, .com. Or write to Running to Win, Box 11174, Chicago, Illinois, 60611. This is Dave McAllister. Learn to make the right choices. Join us Monday for our next Running to Win.